what is this movie called? Banshees of the Inisherin? Inisherin? Ed Sheeran? Ed Sheeran? Ed Sheeran. Leave a bark if I'm right. How about bark if I'm not right? Ha 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 ha! I knew I was right. Yes! Yes! If I go down on this, Lilu, I'm taking you down with me. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll fall in love with the donkey? That's right. Buckle up. Let's talk Banshees of Inisherin. I was looking forward to this film because, number one, big Colin Farrell fan. We'll watch anything he does. I'm also a big fan of the director, Martin McDonough. I mean, it also has a third thing, a very lovable black and white dog. And that's always a good thing for entertainment, right? Huh? Yeah. Martin McDonough, of course, is known for his absurdist comedies, his very dark comedies that challenged, other plays and playwrights on Broadway for years until finally trying his hand at film. And his debut film was one of my favorites called In Bruges, followed by Seven Psychopaths, followed by Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which got a lot of awards consideration at the time. So he's had a pretty good track record, and that is because he is such a good, talented writer. Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, kind of an odd pairing, but they were wonderful in Bruges, are once again teamed up with director Martin McDonough for this film. Is this film going to be magic, just like In Bruges? Or are we seeing signs that this pairing needs to break up? Well, I'm here to tell you that their chemistry is still captivating. And once it hooks you, you are going for a ride.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Comfort level between Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, and even conflict between these two, is so at ease, so that they've been friends forever, that when the conflict does arise, you can tell that, they still care for each other deep down. And wonderful actors, and a unlikely duo, but one of the best duos of the 21st century. Anyone that has obsessively been following Colin Farrell, I am not in his bushes, Lilu, okay? Stop accusing me. I am not stalking him in his bushes. Yet. But anyone who has been following Colin Farrell knows that he started off his career with big, huge blockbusters, and now has settled down to very interesting character studies, very small indie films, and his career has just taken, a complete left turn, and he's done such a wonderful job choosing these very interesting, nuanced characters. And this film is no different. It might actually be his best performance to date. In this movie, Colin Farrell offers a very transformative performance. He is able to create such a likable and sweet character that is just terrified of isolation. And he plays, Brendan Gleeson's character is the perfect foil for him. He is a very gruff character. Brendan Gleeson's character kind of rocks the boat in this movie when he tells them, I don't want to be his friend anymore. He doesn't want to be his friend. How about that for a plot point? A simple story of, I don't want to be your friend. But things get progressively out of control from that moment on.
And if you don't stop bothering me, I have a set of shears at home. And each time you bother me from this day on, I'll take those shears and I'll take one of my fingers off with them. And I'll give that finger to you until I have no fingers left. Does this make things clearer to you?
Not really, no.
Starting from now. But shush like, Polly. Shush like.
Yeah, I'd shush like.
Colin Farrell is a relentless, desperate character who is doing anything he can to repair and fix this friendship, while Brendan Gleeson is an unmovable object. And these opposing forces are what drive the film. As simple as it is, that is the plot. And it's about how each of these characters deals with the mundane and the the ordinary moments of life, and how you go about choosing to live that life. We all have a finite clock. How do we spend those hours? Do we spend it with a friend in a pub? Do we spend it making music that will hopefully one day, go across generations, be remembered forever, or at least your name? Or do you find yourself doing movie reviews, talking to a dog in the back seat? These are the choices we make. Are any of these pursuits more worthy than the other, or are we all just killing time? What do you think, Lilu? What are you doing with your time? Huh? Is it worthy? All these struggles, big and small, and there's some really big themes here, are all just created by a man in a small town just not wanting to be friends. Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson are, the ones that are on the movie poster and getting all the attention, but this is definitely an ensemble piece with each of these characters in their lives lending themselves to the conversation. Let's see, what do we have here? Existential dread? Self-mutilation? Abuse? All of this is obviously comedy gold.
That's gold, Jerry. Gold!
I don't know how Martin McDonough does it. To be laughing at one moment hysterically, and then all of a sudden be questioning the deep thoughts of what is life, the loneliness of life. And Lilu is escaping just thinking of it. Now, I would have to argue that this is probably Martin McDonough's best film to date, and this coming from someone who has seen In Bruges maybe a tad too many times. It all starts with the words on the page, and it truly felt that McDonough is getting back to those playwright roots. I mean, mixing that dark humor and tragedy is definitely his recipe, but this movie absolutely lended itself to this kind of simple storytelling that is dialogue driven. The beautiful backdrop of this quaint Irish lived-in village is the perfect setting for such a simple tell. You feel the isolation, but also see the beauty in it. Living there, it's almost kind of romanticized, like living that simple life. But you definitely feel that isolation. You would feel the people on the island probably getting on each other's nerves, because that's all you see is that same old lady every day. And, it's that small town or small island kind of problem. Some of these residents are quick to squash your dreams, or even hoping for anything better than what you're getting on this island. I've already kind of went over some of the questions this film asks, like, friendship, or what does life even mean? What is it all for? Being such a simple story, McDonough really packs in a lot of layers that you wouldn't expect in such a small, simple story. But that is what the great writers and filmmakers do. And so when you get home and you start to unpack all these layers, I've discussed, what the meaning of friendship is, what the meaning of life itself. For being such a simple story, McDonough really packs in a lot for you to take away with when you are back from that silver screen. And that is what the best filmmakers and writers do. Like I said, it's a story about friendship. It's a story about the meaning of life. But also, he really likes to contrast and show you that, a simple argument on an island can almost be compared to, an Irish Civil War. Comparing an Irish Civil War with a little feud on an island between friends can feel so meaningless and meaningful at the same time. You can find the same futility in the larger conflicts as you can in the small. And yet, they feel both worth fighting for when you're in the middle of it. Ultimately, this film will make us question our complacency and satisfaction with life in this world. This is a film that doesn't give us easy answers, Lilu, and its melancholy cuts deep. It cuts deep. This very well may be or I guess just my favorite movie of the year. Time will tell to see how the competition shakes up. But I think it's got to be top 5. I mean, unless this is quite a fall, which I hope, because I always hope for better movies. You can't not want good movies. No. You might have a little inkling that I like this movie. So you guessed right. Obviously, I'm giving this movie a solid, better than solid, green light. One of the year's best movies. My favorite so far. Go check it out. Go see it. It's a smaller movie. I don't know how long its runtime or showing will be in theaters. So try to check it out. And let me know in the comments below what you think. Hey Lou, life can be so bleak and isolating sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But it is worth living. Ah!